Intro, helping men cry. From pain
Let's welcome
to
Coach
holy
Ann
pleasure.
back to the stage. Hello again, my name is Coach Ann. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We are back for part 1 of this series. I hope you all had an opportunity to listen to the intro to know we are under construction. Helping Men Cry is the title of this. In this section, we're going to learn when you think you're doing everything right, but nothing is working. Now what? Let's start with the biblical truth. This is where you can discover more about God and your relationship with Him. Let's go to the Word. There was a man in the Bible named Nicodemus, a religious leader, a man of status, a man who followed all the rules. But even he had to sneak out in the night. Is there anyone listening that ever feels like they have to creep out in the night? Well, he snuck out at night to ask Jesus a question. How can I be born again? I'm pausing for you to reflect and think. Have you ever wanted to be born again, to have a fresh start, to do things anew? Well, this is another way you can rephrase this. I'm doing everything that I was taught, but nothing that I'm doing seems to be working, and something in me still doesn't feel right or complete. Jesus' response to this Nicodemus was, we have to be born again. So in other words, we have to die to the old versions of ourselves. So in the morning, we can be made anew. Mind you, he went at night. So when we rest, we are supposed to decompress. It is our time to spend with God. It is our time to be refreshed. The body is doing its thing and working on ourselves and rejuvenating itself and healing those parts that we need to heal. But a lot of times, we're so callous and we have do not enter on all the doors and the windows. So God is never ever going to take away your free will. If you decide to put up a roadblock and not let Him in, God will honor you with that. He will never take away your free will. So if you're doing everything that you were taught, but something in you still doesn't feel quite right because you're not getting the results, you're performing, you're putting in work, but you're not getting the results that you want. Maybe this is you. You go to work, you protect the people that you love, you don't complain, and even if you complain, maybe it's rightfully so. You're doing everything you were taught a man should do, but nothing is clicking. You still feel disconnected, numb at times, or maybe you feel numb all the time, like you're surviving but not living. That doesn't mean you failed. That means God is inviting you in to something deeper because you have a desire there for something more. This is what science has to say. The brain is wired to repeat what it believes is safe, not necessarily what is healthy. Let me repeat that. The brain is wired to repeat what it believes is safe, not necessarily what is healthy. So if you grew up in a home where emotion was ignored, survival became your operating system. You learned to work hard, even if you were feeling empty, numb out rather than to cry out. You learned to fight the tears versus letting them flow. Prove yourself rather than process your pain. Can I get an amen if this is you?
Oh, Jesus.
So now you might be wondering, why do I feel stuck even though I'm doing everything right? Like I'm doing everything that I know to do. Why do I feel joy? Why don't I feel joy? Even when I am successful. Or why do I feel joy even when I'm successful but no one else around me seems to be happy? Why do I feel tired all the time even though I'm getting the proper amount of rest? Here's the truth. The version of manhood you were given may not be in alignment with the full truth of who you are. I'm going to repeat that. The version of manhood you were given may not be in alignment with the true version of who you are. With the full truth of who you are, because I'm going to say that right. With the full truth of who you are. It's not that you're doing it wrong. It's that you've outgrown the emotional tools you were handed. Can I repeat that? It's not that you're doing it wrong. It's that you outgrew the emotional tools you were handed. Let's look at the practical application. This is your turning point. Not to throw away everything you've done, but to finally ask, what do I really feel? Whose voice am I still trying to make proud or prove wrong? What part of me needs to be seen, not fixed? You're not broken. Men, you're not broken. You're buried, you're bruised, you're under roles, you're under expectations, under pain you were never meant to carry alone. This is where you start again. Born again, not from scratch, but from truth. Cry if you need to. Journal if you've never tried. Sit still and just ask God, show me what I'm not seeing. Because when the tears come, not from weakness, but from clarity, you don't lose your strength. You regain your soul.